Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody from my side as well. My name is Antti Ålander and I'm the Business Development Manager for BitTitan. Some of you may know us from Migration Wiz, one of the third-party data migration tools, but today we are not talking about that. Today we are talking about MSP Complete. BitTitan is a company that has been on the market for a decade. We have globally around 50,000 IT service providers that onboard their end customers to Office 365, Google, other mail and productivity services, file share services, Azure through us, for example. And this is the team that we have in India. You can see my pretty face over here. And couple of things from this screen. In India, we have in Portugal, Alberto Nunes and James Corbishley, who are our senior technology strategists. And if what I will present today interests you, together with me, those gentlemen will help you to get acquainted and get started with MSP Complete. Perfect. Let's jump into the actual topic then. Oh, and by the way, I am personally based in Netherlands, so more than ready to also meet face to face where necessary and wanted. So just to recap, before we go to the MSP Complete platform, what BitTitan has become known for. What you can see in Ingram's marketplace as well is our migration bundles, and practically it's about moving data from these sources to these destinations. And while we were doing that for a decade, we of course listened to our partners regarding what their needs, issues, current ways of handling things are. So let's look at that in a detail before we look at the product. The service onboarding for Office 365, Azure, Google, again, any cloud service, any of those new SaaS-based services. Even if the user interfaces are fairly easy, when you deliver an actual service that you send an invoice to customer, there are still many steps. You will need to understand the technology a bit. You will need to have certain information from the customer regarding what kind of services, how many users, etc., etc. You will need to design how you deliver that project, if it's something that's even a bit out of standard, or if you even have standardized that project type. Then you usually need to do a proof of concept. Then the actual execution of, let's say, moving data, creating Office 365 tenants, purchasing Office 365 licenses from your distributor, setting the tenant up or the configuration over there, doing domain changes, all these kind of things. Oh, about 1,000 steps, even over in bigger projects. And these days, when you purchase something to help you in that, to automate something, yes, BitTitan's Migration Wiz, we can help you in the heaviest and I would say nastiest part of onboarding the customer to Office 365, moving their existing data over there. But still, that does not touch other things that the whole onboarding process needs. Your internal systems, sales systems, ticketing systems, project management systems or PSA systems like ConnectWise, setting those for the customer, purchasing the licenses from the distribution portal, managing and setting up that tenant, those kind of things. Any third-party tools you may need to use in addition to, let's say, our migration Wiz, and then all the manual tasks that are just knowledge or documentation in some system or some file. and migration risk can't help you with that. So we thought when we talked with our partners, how could we help you with everything else related to delivering service, project, or a change to your customers in an easy new way. And so we created MSP Complete. I make a couple promises here that when we move forward should come obvious how it works. If not, please ask when we have a Q&A in the end. From the platform, you will be able to plan and manage every task, every single task in every system and every tool. It can be just documentation where you need to access what you need to do, but it also can be automation, a script, part of the tool that you need to use via API integration. If you run your delivery through the platform, you can actually gain insight and benchmark your delivery. I raise a question here that you can think while we move forward. How many of you know how much money does it exactly cost for you to deliver different kind of services and projects within your organization, and how much money do you make out of them, considering, let's say, employee cost or human cost and cost of goods sold, so licenses, any kind of resources that you have need to purchase, tools for it. Running the services through the platform will give you, for example, insight into that. One other thing that we see a lot of issues these days is when you need to do, let's say, the purchase of the licenses, Office 365, that is handled by a different team than the engineering that handles the actual delivery of the data migration, the tenant setup for Office 365 migration. And so handovers of those tasks in a correct order to deliver the service as fast and easy as possible. We have issues with that. Then how to use the distributor portal, what licenses exactly to purchase, how many of them, for example, what credentials do you need or where do you access that portal. All that kind of information is immediately a bottleneck when a new employee comes into the team that manages that task, if the handover within the process is not correctly set up. We can help with that. And then one of the biggest things that you will soon see in the runbooks that I show is documentation, scripts, and tools. I have also worked with in a managed service provider called Nebula. I have used systems like Confluence, internal wiki pages, SharePoint, ServiceNow, production management systems, all kind of various tools to deliver. And the documentation on how to use that particular tool or system to do that particular task for that particular service or delivery exactly in the right order, it's often scattered around. I think many of you would agree with me. And it's inside people's heads, it's inside PDFs, it's inside many of those systems. And we have a way now to put all that together into one place, into the same place where you then actually execute and measure those deliveries. So now let's actually get into it. Apologies for the long introduction. This is a automated runbook inside the MSP Complete platform, and showcasing this first I think will help to understand what we do. The runbook is kind of a standard operating procedure or a process map with the documentation, tools and scripts needed, and it's live that one can modify and update and then action from the same place. The idea of the Runbook is that whatever knowledge you need, let's say you want to deliver a new Azure service, but you have never delivered that. Ingram will help you, Microsoft will help you, maybe some consultant, learning company, teaching company will help you, but you still need to put all that information into some actionable that you can then run, pilot, and see if it's good business, if how you deliver it is smart, how much does it cost to you versus how much did you make money. And all this we can arrange if you run your deliveries through these Runbooks. And this is completely web-based interface. I show it in action a bit later. On the left you have your process. These are the tasks. These can be just documentation, or this can be automation like PowerShell or through REST API. And then you can assign these tasks for a certain person or a team. You can schedule those. You can give them an estimate how much time they should take and what kind of resources would be born in that task. What you need to do, where you need to do it. And the idea is that when you put that information here and you do the running from here, you understand what you are doing, you have the visibility, and it's easy to execute, even for a new technology that you have never ever used before. And then when you run the service through the Runbook a couple of times, you start to see repetitive, mundane tasks that could be automated, either via, let's say, PowerShell or REST API. And then when you see how much time you spent on doing a certain task, let's say manually, you can start to think, if I automate this and the platform runs it automatically for the server that I need to run the action on, can I save 1 hour, 30 minutes here every time I run the delivery? More about how the actual automation works is behind this link. I'm not sure if we can share the deck. I will surely send it to Ingram, but if you watch the recording or take a snapshot, you can go and see how it works. Now let's look at the platform in a wider sense. Let's go outside of the Runbook. That is the actionable part. Let's go to the platform. When you use the Runbooks, when you deliver services through them, like I said, you will know where your whole organization is regarding every step of every delivery. No matter what your role is in the company, that can of course be restricted as well in the later run. But let's say you are the business lead, the salesperson, or the project manager. You don't need a status update. You don't need to ask anybody. You can always see exactly at what stage a delivery is. For example, here, a demo customer, Silicon Pacific. We can see that services, they have been delivered Azure AD Premium multi-factor authentication. They have been migrated from on-prem Exchange to Office 365. They have gotten self-service password reset applied to them, to the Office 365. And some integration service has been applied. Now we can see, as let's say the project manager, that some of the services are still in progress, not have been completely delivered. Majority of them is. Now, service can be just a small management action or a change as well. It doesn't need to mean a whole Office 365 or Azure service. It can be just doing a change, for example. Then a feed on the right, system events from any kind of servers or laptops, endpoints we have connected, for example, from our platform. Alerts, let's say you are late on delivering a service. Recommendations, let's say our DMA agent notified that one of your customers user has a Photoshop installed on their PC. Why have you not sold that Photoshop license? for example. Any kind of those automation triggers can be put here. And then really a key thing, when you run through the runbooks, the deliveries, you have hard facts. How much time does it take? What do you need to do? And is it good business? And if you have, let's say, a new employee coming to the organization, or you pick up a new technology or tool to use, it is very easy to adopt. I show that live in a second. One more thing to talk about, if you are wondering how we are positioning the platform. We are not a production management system. We are not a PSA. We are not MMA, remote management monitoring system. And we are not like a pure and only documentation place. I show how you, in addition of the documentation and the data gathering, can actually action and deliver those services from here after this slide. Before we go to a couple minutes live demo, one may be wondering, well, what kind of a setup is it? Is it a big platform, this web-based platform? What do I need to do to get value out of it? Do I need to spend hours and hours to get started with it? And so, first of all, for onboarding and managing your customers in Microsoft Cloud Services, we have hundreds of ready-made runbooks there already created by BitTitan, and also from distributors like Ingram. And we have an ISV program where other vendors like Dado and Dropbox will soon be releasing their own runbooks here. So you don't need to put up the whole process yourself. You just modify the template that the vendor gives. If you have any of your own standard operating procedures in PDFs, it's super easy to just copy and paste them into a new runbook as well. And then when you think about how do we start executing those runbooks as a team, you just invite members to your team via email address, and that's it. You can start assigning the tasks to the team members and seeing how the platform works. It really, I can promise that it does not take you hours and hours to understand what this can do or set it up for evaluation or even for production. Then when you go deep into it and you start automating things, then that surely will take a bit more time. Now, before we talk about the campaign, you can see the screen share still, yeah? Can you confirm?
I can still see it. Yeah.
Perfect. I got the WebEx to cut off a bit for a moment. Okay. So now I'm in the platform with my own user, and I'm in a tab called Library. In this library, I have all the runbooks available. But if I search, for example, Ingram here, I can see that Ingram has provided two runbooks to use Dropsuite for archiving, hosted exchange, or Office 365. Now, if you were interested in using this solution, Ingram with these runbooks and us with the platform can help you to immediately start providing service business on top of this technology without extensively learning it. Let me show you how it works. The only thing that I need to do, I can look into it a bit, open it up for details, and then when I click add to my runbooks, it goes to another tab on the left called runbooks. And from here, I can then go first assign it to a customer, maybe customize it, and then execute it. So let's click runbooks. And you can see here I have both of the Ingram microservices and an automation script here. Let's look at the Ingram micro runbooks first. When I click it up, I first select what customer do I assign it to. I have already created plenty of test customers. You would create them from here in a couple of seconds. But let's not go into that. Select the test customer, launch and customize, and we get into this kind of a view. Now here, I could look into the details of the tasks. There's first an introduction here, what you need to do, where do you need to go to purchase the SKUs, what to select the customer. Then when you go to Dropsuite, where you log in, and what exactly do you need to click in the Dropsuite to do the login with your credentials from Ingram, and then how to add the actual backups. And you can have here pictures, texts, soon videos, I think, but this can also here be a tool that you click or a field you select. I show that in the automation script. I could add new tasks here. If I would, let's say, want to say, what do we need to do within our own internal systems, other places where we need to do some actions. I could time and assign every single one of these for a people or for a team. Sorry that the screen size is so small. I could, like I said, time them, and then I could give a cost if there was a labor cost associated to it or cost of goods sold. And now when I click launch service, let's actually assign this first task. Well, ignore that. We have limited amount of time, so I keep away from that. So now let's pretend that I was the engineer that this task was assigned to. I would get an email notification, and I would see in when I would log into the portal in my tasks what I need to do, that I need to complete this task. I would come here, start this task, and I would have a link to the runbook directly from the email, for example. It would tell me what do I need to do in the Ingram portal. When I understand that, have done the steps required in another browser, in another monitor, I click complete, and the platform tells me what do I need to do next. It times how much does it take for me to make those steps for measuring. And this is the way how any new technology that you want to deliver service on can be immediately actioned if the vendor or distributor has provided you with the template here. Let's click complete. I had gone to Dropsuite, and now I have in the Dropsuite I would add the actual backups to the Office 365 based on knowing the admin account for that tenant, and do all these steps here. And this, if you think there's too much here in a single task, you could at any moment modify this runbook and split it into multiple smaller tasks, depending on your preference. Now when I complete this, you see a service report appeared. This report times out if Ingram had estimated how long does it take to do each step, the comparison, and it will tell you here where you better or faster or slower to deliver, and what was the cost based on labor cost and licenses purchased, for example. And when all the data from all the runbooks is gathered inside the platform, then you can see in your reports, in your dashboards, how much are you making money, how much are you spending money, how much are you spending time per each step in each tool. And that helps you to understand what you need to do better or what you need to automate. Let's look at my first automation script. I assign this to a customer. And I just launch this immediately. This just introduces the script or the automation here. So now this task is not just information. This is an input collection task where I give my name, I give your name, there we go, and now our automation framework that can run PowerShell runs a script based on these parameters and shows then that was it successful, did it fail, and it shows the results. Let's say I would want to run a script to a Office 365 tenant or Azure as part of the onboarding or management task. Now, as an engineer, I don't need to log in to any portal. I don't need to open up any remote connection to any server. I have given the credentials earlier in the platform. I can just run the task from here to the server automatically. Now we don't connect to any server. The script is just run inside our framework and it will print the logs and the results below here in a moment. Just a second. There we go. New logs available. Refresh. Antti is showing automation to Ingram and when it was executed. Now this is really basic, really simple, but you should understand the potential. If you need to connect to a virtual machine, to any Microsoft server, for example, any Microsoft cloud service, for example, you can do the command from here directly, and you can, it's not like on Rails that you just can do one single thing from a single runbook. With the input collection tasks, you can modify a runbook to help in multiple situations, like onboarding different kind of Office 365 services. Now, as a final thing that I want to leave all of you about the pricing, we have 3 tiers: get organized, get optimized, get automated. If you want everything, it's $100 per your user per month with a yearly commitment. You can test everything else except running the automation for first 3 agents for free. For more details, please discuss with Ingram and with us. We have a promotion until the end of the year that if you purchase one of the Get Automated subscriptions, which gives you all the features of the platform, I'm sorry that we can't go into those in detail now because of time, you will get 80 of the user migration bundles for free. This means that if you have migration projects that you need to work, you can do those for free by buying and testing the Get Automated platform for a year. The cost of this is exactly the same than this. And there's no limit on how many times you can use this promotion. It's valid until the end of year. I know that the platform is it looks like a lot, like I said, but to get started with it, just register at BitTitan.com, take one of those pre-made runbooks out of there. They're all of our migration guides, how to use migration, for example, have been converted into those runbooks. And then start seeing when you add your own steps, our own knowledge, own scripts into it, how you can benchmark, how you can improve your process and take new tools to use. That's about it.
All right, good morning. For the cloud marketplace, you can go to your website of the Ingram Micro Cloud. In this case, it's cloud.nl because we're obviously in the Netherlands. Basically, on the home screen, you will see the many different kind of options, like the cloud solutions and the cloud marketplace, how to become a cloud reseller, etc. To order BitTitan, you can go to the cloud marketplace, and you can log in to the cloud marketplace. That is button, and then you will end up in the home screen of the cloud marketplace. If you're not connected yet, if you're not logged in, you can do so on the top right corner. Then in order to get to BitTitan, you can go and select cloud services, and you have a mouse over for the different kind of options. And you will find BitTitan in the Cloud Enablement Services tab. And you will go on. And on this page you will find all the different kinds of plans in order to order BitTitan. We'll just quickly scroll through, and let's just say if we want to order one of these, let's say the MSP Complete end user subscription for 1 year, we'll just click on Buy Now. You will see the overview saying it's a 1 year subscription, and you can add some extra options by tapping the chat box, and then afterwards saying how many coupons you want to add. If you don't want to add anything, just don't tap the checkbox and just continue. So in the end, you've got an overview. If this is all okay for you, just go to proceed to checkout. And afterwards, you can either select an existing customer if you have already placed some orders prior to this one. You can pick the ones you want from the drop-down menu. If it's a new customer, you just select new customer, and all the fields will appear. Then you can just fill all the fields saying like the login, which will be the login, and the name appears in your control panel. Then afterwards you'll just fill in that it's mostly a business account. You fill in the company name, the first name of your contact person, the email address. Please note that all kind of login information will be sent to this email address. So if you don't want your end customer to receive any of these emails, fill in your own email. Then afterwards the address, the zip, postal code, city, etc. Once done, you click on continue, and you will just go to the page which will provide your payment methods. We always recommend you to pick the wire transfer option, and then afterwards, if all's set and done, you're good to go. So that's in a nutshell. That's the how you can just order your BitTitan license. If you've got any kind of questions or you need any kind of support, you've got the 0800 number on the top middle end of the screen. I always recommend to just call your local company number. For the Netherlands, it's the one in Utrecht. On business hours, they will just provide the support in your own language, which might be a bit easier than just entering the international number. Right, that's it. That's how you order BitTitan in the cloud marketplace.
Perfect. Seems like we are done. Good day, everybody.